What if suffering wasn't some kind of punishment, but was actually a treasure mountain? And what if building a perfect world, a utopia, didn't start with some grand plan, but with just one person lighting a single candle? Well, today, we're diving into an incredibly powerful spiritual lecture from Kyushu, Japan, back in March of 1990, that explores these exact world-changing ideas.
Right from the jump, the speaker isn't just giving a polite greeting. He's tapping into the energy of the room itself. He says he can literally feel their passionate spirit and that it actually fuels him. So this sets the stage right away. This isn't going to be a dry lecture. It's a living, breathing exchange of powerful emotion.
So what do you say to an audience that's that energized, that passionate? Well, he laid out a really profound look at the human condition, and it all starts with identifying one core problem.
The speaker's whole argument is that before you can even talk about finding happiness, you first have to diagnose what's wrong. To find the cure, you got to understand the illness. And he sees a fundamental problem deep within the human soul. And that brings us right to the heart of the issue he identifies, this idea of the clouding of the human heart. The core belief here is that we all start out with hearts that are pure, but something happens to them along the way.
So at the center of this teaching is this fascinating idea about where we come from. We don't start here on earth. Our souls, our true selves, originate from a kind of heavenly world, a place of total peace and harmony. But then we're born into this physical, three-dimensional world, and we get so caught up in everything that we forget. We forget our true nature. Our hearts get clouded, and they start to lose that original light. And the metaphor he uses gets even more powerful. The heart doesn't just get cloudy. He says it gets rusty. All the struggles of life, our negative thoughts, our worldly attachments, they're like water and air on bare metal. They cause this spiritual decay, this rust that is the direct source of our suffering.
So this is the big question, right? If you accept this diagnosis, that our hearts are slowly becoming rusty, then what's the treatment? How do you polish a soul? How do you restore it back to that original, shining state?
The answer, thankfully, comes in a really clear, practical framework: the 4 principles for happiness. This is the toolkit for how you start polishing that rusty heart.
So, this entire path forward is built on 4 key pillars: love, knowledge, self-reflection, and development. The speaker believes that if you can master these, you can rediscover that true, happy self that's been buried underneath all the rust. First up is the principle of love, and this one kind of flips our normal way of thinking completely upside down. It says that true, deep happiness isn't found in getting love from others, it's found in the selfless act of giving love.
Next, we have the principle of knowledge. This teaches that seeking truth, what's called shinri in Japanese, isn't some abstract academic thing. No, it's a practical tool that you can use to grow your own enlightenment and directly solve the worries and anxieties you face every day. The third principle, self-reflection, brings us right back to that core problem. This is the hands-on work. This is the actual rust removal, the spiritual maintenance. It's the process of looking inward to clear away those clouds and get back to that original harmonious state. And finally, there's the principle of development. This one is all about moving forward. It's not enough to just clean up your spiritual state. You have to keep progressing. It's this constant drive for improvement, for yourself as an individual, and for society as a whole. So where does all this inner work ultimately lead? Well, this isn't just about achieving your own personal zen. These 4 principles are actually meant to fuel an absolutely breathtaking collective mission, building a utopia, a perfect world, right here on Earth. This is such a great question, because if the goal is happiness and harmony, what's the point of all the pain and struggle that causes the rust to begin with? It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? But the speech offers this profound way of reframing what suffering actually is. And the answer comes in this incredible image. Hardship isn't a punishment. It's a treasure mountain. The speaker argues that when you're going through your toughest times, you're actually surrounded by the raw materials for growth, like diamonds and gold just waiting to be mined from the rock. And that means you don't just climb that mountain for yourself. The wisdom and strength you gain by overcoming your struggles, that's not just for you. You're meant to bring that treasure back down to help build a better world for everyone. Your personal struggles serve a collective purpose. The whole speech builds to this absolutely beautiful and powerful closing metaphor, comparing this whole spiritual mission to a single candle in a world of complete and total darkness.
Because the path to lighting up the entire world,
that grand utopian mission, it starts with one small, deeply personal step, filling your own heart with light first.
The speaker poses this amazing thought experiment. Just imagine a world that has only ever known darkness. The very concept of light is completely foreign. How on earth could you explain the sun to people who have never, ever seen it?
And the answer is just so beautiful in its simplicity. You wouldn't try to explain it with words. You'd give them a demonstration. You'd strike a single match and light one candle. And in a world of absolute darkness, that tiny little flame becomes this profound, undeniable example of what light is. The person holding that candle becomes the proof.
And that's where we're left, with this final provocative question. It's a message of immense personal responsibility, but also just incredible hope. The idea that global transformation doesn't need some massive event to kick it off. It can start with just one person, one flame, showing everyone a better way. The question we're left with is, could your light be the one that starts it all?